Let me begin by proposing a scenario to you. Let's for a second, imagine that schools don't exist today. We have been tasked to develop the most efficient core for a new education system. What would you do in order to bring an education to over 90 million Americans, that are currently seeking one? I realize that it is a big question, but the answer might just lie right in front of you. We can't obviously fit all these people into a classroom like we have been doing for almost 400 years. We all know about this fundamental problem, and you have probably heard at least once, that we need more professionals, engineers, doctors, and so on. But this is because the system itself extinguishes motivation and creativity. Fine schools are unreachable to almost 85% of the population only in America, let alone the entire world. Public schools have become nothing more than a space of tedium and boredom. In the 21st century, we still see a comic cartoon happening at our schools and classrooms, and that is, a teacher standing up in front of a blackboard dictating class to a number of students. A lesson that doesn't own any movement or interaction, a class that only speaks words. I am the adult, I am the one giving you the information, you have to sit and listen to what I have to say. Knowledge cannot be imposed, it must come from the heart, and the willingness to learn cannot be demanded. We are curious from nature, we love to experiment and try new things, but for some reason we love to tell others what they have to do, what they must learn and when. Today, we know the internet as a research and communication tool, but its uses are greater than we can manage to see on the surface. Companies and individuals use the internet for many different purposes, and the outcomes are always different and unique. As individuals get used to these new technologies, we always seem to develop newer and better uses for them. Everyone knows Google, and the internet itself as the new Earth library, growing exponentially as information is being poured into it every second. It is a place where all human knowledge is stored and easily accessed by millions on a daily basis. What I like to call the human hive of information. From silly questions that a 5-year-old may ask their parents, to the most complex problems and best-kept secrets are available now for everyone to retrieve. You can ask literally anything, and most likely, you will obtain a known answer. But there is a very powerful fundamental problem to this way of sharing information, and that is, you will not get recognition for acquiring new knowledge. So, if we as humans can retrieve, decode and then store this information, wouldn't this be equivalent to learning? We have a limited and flawed forced education system in place where we can't even let the entire world in it. When you use Google, you are actually being bombarded by information. Without even realizing it, you are acquiring new knowledge that hopefully will be useful to you in your daily life. From mundane things to complicated solutions to a problem and computed answers, we can find it all. If Google or the internet doesn't know it, it's almost safe to say, no one else knows it yet. I maintain that anybody can teach themselves to do anything they put their minds into. If there is something humans are good at, is adapting. The process is even easier if someone with the knowledge and experience is sharing the how-to with you. Imagine having the chance to share your passions and dedications with the world, whilst actually providing a very desirable service to others with the same interests as yours. We are in the era of information. We don't believe information should be bought at schools and universities anymore. It is free and available to you at the reach of your fingertips. Given to you by millions of people with knowledge and expertise in many different forms for free. We have countless forums, networks and social places, where people interchange information. But why in the world do we not have a proper learning network? Why have we not given a proper place to all these people on the internet trying to share their knowledge? We must do this now, we can do this now. We have built the infrastructure to make this possible. Imagine a place where teachers and students can get together and share information, and to be recognized for these efforts. Due to the accessibility and the power of the internet, we propose to build a learning open-source interactive network, organize the collective wisdom and funnel all this knowledge into people's minds, build the interface to give people the ability to self-organize their own information or expertise, and give full credit to people who seeks this knowledge. Our interface will also connect businesses that are currently seeking a knowledgeable and prepared workforce. We will give your business and corporations the ability to handpick those with the required skills or interests, and to filter out all the candidates that are likely to not bring a positive impact. Since today it isn't very practical to say in your resume that you went to school on the internet, or that you learned everything you know from it and have built a portfolio around it. We want to give a proper space to the ones that are trying to reach out to others in hopes that others can use the information provided. And to those who don't have access to a proper and in education. When we learn, we don't believe it should matter. It does not matter where you learned it, as long as you got the content and are ready to implement what you have learned in your daily life. We know schools are broken, they are not even safe for your kids anymore. Bullying, violence, suicides, student inequality and even police brutality against students. Teachers are not rated, they have no incentive or motivation to become better teachers. We entrust our teachers to impart the best possible quality of knowledge to our kids, but unfortunately most of our teachers have simply lost their drive. These issues have become so normal nowadays, and we seem to be ignoring them instead of paying attention and fixing these problems. These are problems that highly impact our education. As parents, and as students, we want our teachers to get paid what they deserve. Every one of us that went through the public education system must remember that dreadful class, with that horrible teacher that made us go through a very bad experience. But there are also those who embrace their profession, and dedicate and devote their lives, to leave a meaningful and positive experience to that small group they are in charge of. Imagine exploding and expanding these elite and top-tier classrooms to an unlimited audience. We keep asking our children to solve the same questions and problems that have been extensively answered millions of times by millions of people, and for that exact reason we have developed tools that help us not having to learn all these things and memorize content, only to be forgotten after we manage to pass our tests, from geography and GPS technology, to math and computed answers. Why do we make our children memorize what are the capitals of the world, when instead we can show them how to use the tools that will enable them to know, in a split second, every single capital of the world? Why do we keep asking them to solve complicated equations, when all they want to do is be an artist and draw, or compose beautiful music? We are different and unique, we must recognize it, embrace it and most importantly deal with it. This is why we want to build this interface, because involves resolving all this in an effective way. Imagine knowledgeable people actually competing, trying to better themselves and become proficient instructors, arranging teams and develop content, seeking for audience. And being rewarded with exactly what they deserve, no less. Besides creating new honorable jobs from thin air. These people would become celebrities. Simply imagine what an amazing honor it would be to be one of the great teachers of the world, having thousands or even millions watch and take your lessons. Any teacher's day can't get much better than that in our humble personal opinion. These changes will force human ingenuity to kick in, and soon you will have instant top-tier professors competing to teach your children. Schools will be forced to also evolve and adapt to the new changes, because if you don't adapt to the changes our world is undertaking, they will be left behind. This is the scheme our interface will adapt. We will reward and incentivize our teachers and we will give them back the motivation they once had when they decided to become instructors. Teaching has become a process of symbolic repetition. We intend to bring back the value of the power that selective knowledge can bring to one's life. We don't want our kids to go to school to waste their time. We don't want them going to a place where they will be constantly let down. How is it possible that an 8-year-old spends more time at their school than a universitary at their university? Schools nowadays seem like factories, industrialized daycare, some sort of bizarre place of incarceration. We are the children of the system. Whatever happened to your son or daughter that once told you they wanted to become a doctor, or an engineer? Why or how were their dreams extinguished? At what point in their life did they decided it wasn't worth going through so many obstacles to achieve their dreams? At what point did we settle for less? Imagine, next time your children share their dreams with you, to be able to tell, okay, so do you really want to become an astronaut? Do you really want to become a doctor? Great, here you go, we have put together every single bit of information you will need to know in order to become one, we have categorized, organized and made it readily available to you, and it's here, for you, won't cost you anything at all, and it's at the reach of your fingertips. Oh, you don't understand the class or the lesson of a particular teacher. Worry not, there will be many more to choose from. Every single instructor giving you the same information, but each one with a unique ability to share their knowledge. Simply pick the one you want to learn from. Imagine if you had the power of choice when you were in school. And for those who are currently in our public school system, imagine if you had that option today. Sometimes people blame the students for failing, without realizing that sometimes the person in charge is unable to reach out to them, and we proceed to try to fix something that isn't broken. New technology is being developed so fast that we are having a hard time catching up as it is, but we have to make the effort to keep up. I have heard many people talk about the inexplicable interconnectedness that is all around us. We have found a way to null distance and barriers. Classrooms no longer have to be divided by walls or even have a physical real-time existence anymore. We can explode and expand these for an unlimited audience, while keeping that instant for posterity. But the best part is, it is very simple and effortless to do this, only if we take the initiative. This is where things are heading. We are living in the future, and this is what we envision for our present. We have to leave something behind for the future generations to come, and we must fix obsolete systems that aren't leading us anywhere. Not wars, not weapons, not a world full of hatred and barriers. But a world filled with knowledge. Let us empower the people. I invite you today, to be a part of this dream. To help mold the same future we all look forward to. Help us bring excellent free education to the world. Help us share our best teachers to those in need. The school, a pool of knowledge, for the people, by the people.